أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والتسليم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا ومولانا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وروح العالمين لترى بمختمه الفداء أما بعد فقد قال الله عز وجل في محكم كتابه العزيز بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بل يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه. To hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. I would like to conclude my topic today considering the urges of the dunya, a topic that we had started a few days ago, and this is very much related to purification of the nafs, especially during the holy month of Ramadan, due to the fact that a mu'min during this month, he abstains from eating, which is the main source of strengthening all of the other urges. Eating and the stomach is the source that strengthens all of the other urges. And as a result, a human being can have that freedom to a certain extent in order to occupy themselves with tahdhib al-nafs during this time. And we had talked about some of the types of the shahawat. We had talked about who beautifies these shahawat more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has programmed in our fitrah. We said that it is either the nafs, it can also be bad company, it can also be shaitan. It also has, if a person purifies their selves and controls their urges, it has positive effects. We mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created these urges in a human being for a human being to be able to fulfill that role, which is the role of Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this earth, and for the continuation of humanity. In addition to this, we also started to mention some of the negative effects of a person not purifying themselves, and as a result following their shahawat and their urges and their desires and whims blindly. So yesterday what we did is that we mentioned some of the factors, first of all, that lead to a human being coming to this position in life. And I will just remind the brothers and sisters, just the titles of them. I said that one of them was weak faith, to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold us accountable on the day of Qiyamah, but to not have that ma'rifah, to not have that yaqeen, that conviction in the heart, to not truly believe it with the heart. Secondly, we said that when a person starts to fall prey to their urges, slowly they become heedless to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't observe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anymore. According to certain narrations, our imams, our prophet, they ask us to pray. When we pray, we should pray as if we see Allah, because if we do not see Him, He sees us. That this seeing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, observing of Allah, it slowly fades away when the veils they increase from the nafs because of sins being committed by a person. These sins, they lead the heart to become darkened. Allah, in Ayat al-Kursi we recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu yukhrijuhum min al-dhulumati ila al-nur wal ladhina kafaru awliya'uhum at-taghut yukhrijunahum min al-nur ila al-dhulumat. Correct? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the guardian of the people who believe. He takes them out of the darknesses, plural, and He takes them towards the light. And those who disbelieve, their awliya are the tyrants and the oppressors and the taghut. They do the opposite. They take them from the light towards the darknesses. So a person becomes heedless to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and slowly this may lead to many different illnesses, even psychological problems as well in that person. Thirdly, bad company also leads to staying away from these, or to be more accurate, bad company also leads to a person just falling prey to their shahawat. And this is a Quranic concept as well that I mentioned yesterday. And fourthly, I also mentioned the fact that deviated, incorrect ideologies and philosophies in life philosophy of strength and power, liberalism, whatever, a lot of these, anything non-divine is going to lead to that extent or those principles that they believe in. And this is going to be contrary to what Allah has created a human being for. Imagine right now, let me give you an example and I'll come to apply it. Imagine you want to lift right now, you want to tow a big container with you right now. Correct? A big 40-foot container, which may come to maybe around 20 tons, whatever, okay, with a trailer, everything. That's more weight as well. Now what do you put in front of that? You put a small Nissan Micra. Okay, especially if it's diesel. So if you put a small Nissan Micra, in order to pull all of that, it's not going to be possible, correct? Then take it the other way around. If you put something extremely light, but in front of that, okay, you put something very, very powerful. Let's say you want to pull with a plane, you want to pull a small caravan. But with a plane, how foolish can you be? Right? Now, as a result, every single school of thought and every single ideology that is especially man-made, it has a certain understanding of what a human being is. It has a certain understanding of life. All of this is based on the thought of the person who brought this philosophy and this ideology, according to his contemplations and his understandings and his logic. Now, based upon that, if he sees that a human being is only created for this world, he will tell you, divide and conquer. Correct? If he sees that a human being should be free from all of the limitations and the restrictions that society puts for him, slowly, if this thought, it creeps into the political level, what is going to happen? They're going to slowly start to legislate those kinds of laws that everything is free for you, you can do whatever you want. No. So a few years ago, or a few decades ago, you would have, for example, certain societal norms, social norms, okay? Slowly, you would find them, no, it's not a problem. Okay, inshallah. Why should this be wrong? Alright? And so, they start to legislate these kind of things. Now, Ayatollah Muhammad Baqir Sadr rahmatullahi alayhi, he postulates, he theorizes, that according to the ideal that a human being holds, that is going to be the level of perfection that you will be able to reach. So if your God, ma'adallah, is dates, okay, if that is your God, like the gods of Arabs during those times, they would take, their gods would be dates. When they get hungry, they eat their God. If they would travel, they'll take a few rocks as God, because dates would maybe, they will rot, okay? And they would settle, they would rest, they would take the most beautiful, this was the expression, the most beautiful looking of the rocks. They would put that rock as their God. And they would, correct? But if that is your understanding of life, that you are an abd and a servant of something like this, you will not focus on your spirituality, you will not focus on your akhlaq, your morality, helping your fellow man, etc. Believing in Islam, believing in a divine school of thought, believing in a divine school of thought that understands everything related to you. Related to your body, related to your mind, related to your soul, related to your society, to your family. If you believe in this kind of ideology, you will find that every single part of your existence has been taken care of by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will find that there is a teaching that is applicable to this. And that teaching is going to lift you up higher and higher. Okay? So, this is something that I wanted to mention. Just quickly count those negative factors, those negative effects. I will quickly mention some of the other negative effects today. In addition to those that I mentioned yesterday, I will just quickly mention them by title. After which I will, inshallah, try to see if we have time to move to another topic. So, first of all, a human being becomes polluted with sins. That light, divine light, it can't pierce that heart anymore because it is covered now by veils of dhulumat, like we said. Secondly, the mind becomes corrupted. The mind of a person becomes corrupted totally. They can't distinguish haqq from batil anymore. Thirdly, the nafs itself, it becomes in a prison, yani a human being, he becomes a prisoner of the nafs, a prisoner of shaitan, a prisoner of shaitan al-jinn wal-ins. In this kind of situation, he can't resist anymore. They will see the ugly as beautiful. If you, again, another thing, another effect is that a person's sole concern will be this dunya. I just want to build my dunya. I want to have the best house. I must have the fastest internet, the best looking car, fastest car. Yes. And every year when Samsung, they reveal a new television, I will buy it. Okay? This is what they will want. This is their dunya. But what about the akhirah? No, does not matter at all. I mentioned the story of Bal'am bin Ba'ura yesterday. This kind of person as well will not be able to accept any wisdom or any knowledge, like I mentioned. That is to say that if you come to him and you tell him, you give him something that has wisdom. You tell a parent that why do you kick out your 16 or 17 or 18-year-old child out of your house? Do you not love him? Do you not love her? Do you not have any affections, any feelings for them? Do you not fear for what they will fall prey to in this society right now? We Muslims, unfortunately, we're very confined into our own perimeters. But if you go outside a little bit, you live as well with our fellow citizens, with the British people, the British society as well, in general, non-Muslim society. You will find the problems that they face. So many people, they fall prey to drugs and this kind of life of crime, especially right now in London with knife crime, very much on a rise. When they're looking for the reasons, they find the reasons mostly are related to the fact that there are no proper youth programs for the youth in order to pull them out from the streets. Right? And you'll find this kind of crime going around county borderlines between gangs, etc. Right? You come to the parent, you tell them that look at these dangers that your children will fall to, take care of them, guide them, etc. Nah, let them fend for themselves, I know what. Some even ask the kids for rent. Inshallah. That shaitan, again, like I said, shaitan will have a proper strong control over him. Like we mentioned the story of Bal'am, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَتْبَعَهُ الشَّيْطَانِ, and after he disattached himself from the ayat of Allah, that gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given him, those inspirations, divine inspirations. Like even when his donkey spoke to him by divine miracle, that there are angels, where are you going? But he did not listen. When he did not listen, shaitan pursued him and he caught him. And as a result, he fell prey to shaitan totally. This kind of person will not only become misled, he will also mislead. Bal'am فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. Ghaween, those people who mislead. He gave the king of the Canaanites, he gave him strategies in order to be able to overcome Banu Israel and deprive them of the divine blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was blessing Banu Israel with. What to do, what to tempt them with. In addition, this kind of person, will reach a state of greed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَرَفَعْنَاهُ بِهَا وَلَكِنَّهُ أَخْلَدَ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ الْكَلْبِ إِنْ تَحْمِلْ عَلَيْهِ يَلْهَثْ أَوْ تَتْرُكْهُ يَلْهَثْ ذَلِكَ مَثَلُ الْقَوْمِ الَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا فَاقْصُصِ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Had we wished, we would have surely raised him by their means, but he clung to the earth and followed his base desires. So his mathal, his example is that of a dog. If you attack it or you make for it, it will loll out his tongue. And if you leave it alone, again it will loll out his tongue. Such is the parable of the people who deny our signs. Whatever you do with them, this person is not going to understand. Their sole focus is just the dunya. Again, among the things is that this kind of person will have the instability of his nafs. This has 4 levels. First of all, it will start with a whim, a desire. Okay? Shaitan will come to that kind of person and he will beautify something for him. This person will fall prey to this urge after him being convinced with his nafs, this is beautiful to do 1, 2, 3. He will fall prey to his urge, he will do what shaitan has beautified. He will follow that urge. Thirdly, this will now become a habit. To do this kind of haram act, it will become a habit for this person. Okay? Fourthly, this will become a disease that he will not be able to pull himself out of. Now, this is actually this kind of instability. These people, right? This kind of instability, you find them. How many a time have you heard certain people, they have psychological problems, anxiety with regards to life, anxiety with regards to problems that they face in their lives. For instance, among the problems that they will face is that sometimes they will reach such a stage, they have everything in the dunya, they know what there is nothing that they can do anymore, alright? There is nothing that they can, there is nothing that is left anymore in the dunya except that they have taken it and they have done it, whatever. In the end, they start to have depression, and after depression, it slowly leads them to what kind of thoughts? Suicidal thoughts. Go and have a proper study, read studies related to suicides, especially in the Western world, and find the root causes. Find the root causes. A Tawheedi personality is such a personality. A Tawheedi personality is a different personality. A Tawheedi personality does not fall prey, it does not worship the nafs, the other faculties of the nafs. It does not worship, for example, shaitan, friends, bad company, etc. No, it does not do that. A Tawheedi personality focuses only on the light and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the satisfaction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not focus on taghut. Whereas the shirki personality, a polytheistic personality, that's what it looks for. So Tawheed, this is one of the meanings of Tawheed, according to our ulama. This kind of person, not only will he become attached to the dunya, he will become fooled by the dunya as well. He will consider that this dunya is everything and it's going to protect me, it's going to remain for me, it's going to work for me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, alaykum as-salam, يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. They know what is apparent of the worldly life, but they of the hereafter are unaware. This dunya, it appears to them in a beautiful way. They will occupy themselves with their urges and they will forget all other perfections, like I mentioned yesterday. They will forget anything related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the proximity of Allah. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created this human being is a manifestation of each and every different part and levels of the worlds of existence. Yani starting from alam al-arwah, alam al-jabarut according to Ibn al-Irfan, alam al-malakut, and alam al-shahada, alam al-mulk, alam al-mulk, alam al-dunya. These three levels, a human being, he has each and every one of these parts. And each and every one of these parts, you have to focus in order to fulfill their right, in order to perfect them, to give attention to them. Based on this, you are the secret that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in this earth, which is the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when you focus solely on your urges, you have forgotten all of them. With this regard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسَوُا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. And do not be like those who forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who forgot that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you in this way. Okay? So He made them forget themselves, that you have all of these different levels of existence embodied in you. Allah made them forget. أُولَٰئِكَ, those are indeed the disobedient. In addition to the fact that one of the other effects is there is loss of money, loss of effort, and loss of time. You lose your money. I don't feel it's not even appropriate for me to mention this. Look and read the stories of many people who win the lottery. Okay? Many people who win the lottery. Look at what happens to them and their ways of life. Okay? Go home today, just Google it a little bit. Okay? Look at what happened to them, their way of life. Many of them I read, they say we wish we had not won it. Okay? They reach after winning and after spending everything, they reach a certain point in life when they say that we are actually now worse off than when we received that money. We are worse off. Look at what the sins that they commit and the vices, and you will understand what I'm saying. So all of this is a loss of money, loss of effort as well. All of your effort going up and down and climbing and jumping up and down for this dunya, for money, for whatever, for all of these different pleasures. You're forgetting the bigger picture. Among the social effects, of course, wars, the falls of civilizations. If you look at different civilizations, I'll mention you one civilization. The Umayyad civilization of Andalus, of Andalusia. Read it. They ruled in Spain for approximately 700 years. For approximately 700 years. Okay? There was a Muslim presence in Spain and the southern parts of the European continent. What happened? These Umayyad kings and their princes and the Muslims, unfortunately, they saw their urges, that's what they were looking for, physical urges, etc. Slowly, they became weak, they forgot the bigger picture, they forgot the civilization of Islam, they forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the principles of life, everything. Running behind their lusts, they reached such a state and position of weakness, they were thrown out and they were killed and they were massacred, totally massacred. So that is one example of a fall of civilization. Look at the Romans, look at the Persians, look at many others. Among the effects of al-akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَأَمَّا مَنْ طَغَى وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا فَإِنَّ الْجَحِيمَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. And he who has been rebellious and preferred the life of this world, his refuge will indeed be hell. Again, I'll just mention some titles, is for a person to be humiliated in front of others when they want to fulfill these shahawat and they become slaves to these shahawat. Among the different negative effects is that this person, they will fall prey to a disease which is called looking at your nafs, at yourself. Okay? Me, I understand. I know how to do this. Why did you guys take this decision? Or why did you leave me out? I was the one who knows how to do this. You guys don't know. Nafs. One of the stories of that is related, one of the accounts of Sayyid Ali al-Qadi radhiyallahu ta'ala alayhi. He says, or Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad, Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad. One of the ulama, Mujtahid, he came to him. This Mujtahid came to him and he asked Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad. Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad had studied in the Hawza for a very short period of time, but he was the best student of Sayyid Ali al-Qadi in Ilm al-Arfan. He was the contemporary of Sheikh Bahjat. However, Sayyid Ali al-Qadi, he put a lot of trust into Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad, but that does not mean that we are disrespecting the maqam and the high rank of Sheikh Bahjat. Once a person came to him, a mujtahid, that, oh Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad, help me, I want to purify myself. I want you to help me in tahdib al-nafs. He said, no problem at all. No problem. A poor person came, an Arab Bedouin wearing the traditional Arabic dress and his clothes were a little bit dirty. So he tells this mujtahid, make a cigarette for him. Roll a cigarette for him. You know the traditional Arabic cigarettes. Kindly close the doors, please. A traditional Arabic cigarette. So this mujtahid, he turns to Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad. He tells him, me, roll a cigarette for him. Sayyid Hashim al-Haddad became very upset. He said, what have you come to me for? Go break that sanam, that idol that you have, which is your nafs, yourself, and then come back to me to teach you tahdib al-nafs. Take it away with me. In addition to this, science and knowledge when it comes under the control of a person who has not carried out tahdib al-nafs. Science and knowledge, when it comes under such people, they will use it for their material gains, even if it may lead to loss and damage to others. In addition to this, a person will not be able to understand the light of the Holy Quran. Not only the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the most beneficent, the merciful. Now we're not only talking about this. The Quran is a light, is a divine nur. This divine nur, it was descended, it was sent and caused from the higher realm, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His ilm, from His knowledge. Okay? From there, it was sent through to Alam al-Jabarut, through to Alam al-Mulk, al-Malakut, until to Alam al-Mulk. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he received this nur. Correct? He received this nur. But when he received this nur, at this level, it may be this book that you have over here. Correct? But it has an extension to above, and the higher it reaches, the more depth and content, the more deep it becomes. I please request for the kids to be controlled a little bit. But based on this, if you want to understand all of this, you need to purify yourself. You need to sit down on this musalla, especially during that final portion of the night, and other times, recite a few du'as from the bottom of your heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask, do istighfar, recite the Holy Quran. Let all of these, and do tawassul as well. Especially tawassul. All of these will help your heart become more enlightened and have that same suitability with the Holy Quran. When you do that, you will be able to understand and perceive so many different realities of the Holy Quran that the Holy Prophet referred to. That this Quran, every single level of the Holy Quran, it has 70 inner levels and depths. 70. And according to other narrations, even more than that. Okay? 70 is just a figure of speech. It's extremely deep. علم الكتاب, علم اللوح المحو الإثبات, علم اللوح المحفوظ, علم الغيب. All of this is referred from the Holy Quran. However many books of tafsir you may read, you may say that Molana, but please, if you have a look at Orientalists, they have carried out so many studies of the Holy Quran, and they understand the Holy Quran, even though they may not be Muslims. I understand. Okay, no problem at all. However, if your Imam did not come and tell you that one of the ta'wilat, the esoteric, the inner meanings of Matla' al-Fajr, the break of dawn, is the time of dhuhur of the 12th Imam Ajlallah Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif. However much you research, however much you go and have a look, you would not have been able to understand that meaning. And so are others. There is a lot like that in the Holy Quran. In addition to a person being cut, of course, one of the other negative effects will be totally cut from that divine realm, living in that world, malakut that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed to Ibrahim salamullahi alayhi, to Amir al-Mu'mineen, who said that if the hijab were to be lifted, I would not increase in yaqeen, and he had the highest levels of yaqeen. And that is again a figure of speech, because they were lifted for Amir al-Mu'mineen salamullahi alayhi, he could see everything. Among the different negative effects is that the nur of the fitrah will be closed. That person, again, he will also freely and willingly commit acts that are against the Sharia of Islam. They will have an animosity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the time of death. Ayatollah Shahabadi, the teacher of Imam Khomeini, he says this, and I quote him, that the love of this, extensive love of this dunya, it will lead a human being that to become in such a state that when he's taken from this dunya, when he sees Allah with his soul, when he perceives Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the malaika, etc., taking him away and separating him from his dunya and from his beloved dunya, he will start to become angry at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma'adallah. He will become angry and vexed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of the fact that they are removing him from this dunya. Among the other meanings is that Imam Khomeini also says that it is not possible to confirm that such a person who is so connected to this dunya, to all of these different urges, in the barzakh, he will be able to respond when he is asked, who is your Lord? He may not be able to say Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. He may not be able to say that. His tongue may not move. There is a possibility. In addition to this, when a person does die, we're talking about death, right? This body, it has illnesses. If you can please close the doors to the women's side. This soul also has illnesses. These illnesses, they come from the dunya. Now these illnesses, if you cure them in the dunya and you leave this dunya, okay, then khair. You don't have a problem, inshallah, in the barzakh. Okay? I'm using really simplified terms. However, if you take these illnesses with you, know that from the time that you are to be passed, that you're going to pass away, from the time that you pass away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now going to purify you. But His purification is far more difficult. So the first form of it, what is it? You will find that the angels who come to take your soul, they will come in the most scariest of forms. They will come in that way. Okay? So that's firstly. Secondly, when your soul is removed from your body, sakarat al-maut, the pangs of death, they will be very difficult for this kind of person. They will feel the pain a lot. In addition to the pain itself, that moral pain, that emotional pain of leaving everything behind. Then you have the qabr itself. In the qabr, your a'mal, your good and bad a'mal, they will come. Your good a'mal will try to defend you, but your bad a'mal will also come, and it will have this way with you. It will attack you. In addition to this, if none of this works, it's not enough to purify you from the illnesses that you suffer. Now is the time of burning. The Holy Prophet, what does he say? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That this qabr is either one of the springs or one of the gardens of Jannah and Barzakh, or it's going to be one of the holes of Jahannam for you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us safe from that kind of fate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that يَوْمَ يُحْمَ عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارٍ, the day that he will be scorched in the fire of فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمْ, in the fire of Jahannam. فَتُكْوَى بِهَا جِبَاهُهُمْ وَجُنُوبُهُمْ وَظُهُورُهُمْ, and their faces will be burned, and their sides and their backs. This is all why? In order to purify. Among the ways of purification for such a person is the squeezing of the grave. ضغطة القبر. ضغطة القبر. Again, you will also have the adabat of the day of Qiyamah and the way a human being is going to be resurrected as well. In addition to this, one of the things, of course, related to the dunya, this kind of person always tries to eliminate anybody who tries to compete with them. They try to eliminate them. They try to assassinate their character, slander them, sometimes maybe even wipe them out if they have the political, the military power. They will wipe them out. Look at what's happening in the Muslim world today to the mustad'afin. They will also, not only those people who compete with them, even weak people, weak human beings, they will also attack them. In addition, these kind of people, they oppress, but they also accept to be oppressed. They don't have any karama remaining in them anymore. Okay? Imagine this. Living in a country, you are oppressed by a dictator, but you love afiyah, in the sense that you love to be safe, and you don't want to take the burden of maybe uprising, maybe voicing your opinions, saying that what you're doing is wrong. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, my business is fine, I'm eating chapati every day, alhamdulillah, it's good, inshallah. But if I were to say something, and the first thing they're going to come, they're going to check my tax returns. The Home Office is going to come to check my tax returns, and have you made any mistake, any less zero, correct? As a result, I'm going to cause problems for myself. Whatever they want to do, let them do it. This kind of person starts to accept. This is against the principles of Sayyid al-Shuhada, who says, Hayhat min Abdullah. Hayhat min Abdullah. How far away is for us to accept. We will never accept humiliation. This kind of society will also be bereft, and it will be security will be, it will be full of insecurity. This kind of person as well, if this kind of person is put in any position of power, any position of authority, he or she will bring those people who are like him in fasad. Washud, Muawiyah, who did he bring as his wazir? Amr ibn al-As. Amr ibn al-As. He brought Amr ibn al-As to be his wazir. And he told him, bro, if I die, my son, you have to make sure everything is ready for him. You be his counselor, etc. Okay? Muawiyah brought somebody who was exactly like him. And this also you will find it as it applies relatively to a certain extent in every different walks of your life. In addition, that this kind of person, they will not be open to any criticism. When this mind becomes corrupt, whatever you tell them, and I said before, knowledge and wisdom, but even criticism, constructive criticism, no. They will not accept it, however much you tell them. Finally, I would like to end this topic by actually explaining a couple of things that are extremely necessary for different communities and centers, especially in the Western world, what to think about and how to plan strategically. The center, I'll mention quite a few points. First of all, is for the leaders of our community, those people who are in authority and who are in committees of different centers. In the programs that you derive, or in the programs that you devise for your centers, different activities, especially for your children, do not forget that the love of watan, of your nation, is part of Iman. This is mentioned in our narrations. When you go out, you go abroad, when you are asked, where are you from? You will quickly say, I'm from London, I'm from the UK. But when you're over here, more often than not, you are heedless of your national identity. We are British Muslims. We believe in our religion, and we also have certain British principles that we also follow, we believe in, that do not contradict with our religion. Correct or not? All of us know how to stand in the line, correct or not? To follow a system, etc. Correct? We believe in social justice, ila akhiri. We should not shy away from this matter of having a national identity and embracing it. Why? As long as we do not embrace this national identity, we will remain cocooned in our own community centers. Yani we will not live with the wider community, with the wider British community. Do not think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He blessed you with the religion of Islam and He guided you to the madhab of Ahlul Bayt sallallahu alayhi, that is a privilege for you. That is a responsibility. It is not a privilege. We have to be the messengers of Ahlul Bayt sallallahu alayhim with our akhlaq, with the good way we treat people. We have to bear these akhlaq and we have to show them to non-Muslims as well. Everybody, our peers. Correct? They also have that right. Don't go about now putting stands and going to Oxford Circus outside clubs or whatever. No, become followers of Ahlul Bayt and this and that. No, but with your akhlaq. كُونُوا دُعَاةً لَنَا بِغَيْرِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ Yani be callers to us, inviters to us, with other than your tongues, with your akhlaq. One of my teachers, for instance, I'll mention this incident, it was a really beautiful story that he told me that. He studied at the University of Brunei. So he told me that once there was a colleague of his, a lady, and she was passing through a really, really difficult time. A local British woman. So he told her, if you want, I will show you something that you can read. It will give you a lot of peace in your heart, a lot of reassurance. He brought her a translated dua from the du'as of the Sahih al-Sajadi. And she read it and she opened it and she really, really liked it. It's not very, very far from the du'as that even they recite and non-Muslims recite. The general principles are the same, and except the part that we focus on, the Holy Prophet and Ahlul Bayt salamullahi alayhim. Correct? This is one way of akhlaq. I know people who have been able to guide people towards the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam by being good neighbors with them. First of all, to the path of Islam from Jehovah's Witnesses. I personally know people from Jehovah's Witnesses. Secondly, from after embracing Islam, unfortunately they were being taken towards and attracted and pulled towards the path of Wahhabism and Salafism. Again, through good neighbor, being good neighbors with them, speaking, dialoguing, etc., through the akhlaq as well, they were brought towards the madhab Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So this is something that we should do. Secondly, when we look at what our children are specializing in universities when they grow, the community should not just let things continue and happen the way they are. Yani whatever you want to do, whatever you like, whatever you want to do. A certain part of this should be left to free will. A certain part of this should also be guided to a certain extent. Yani encouraging of our youth. You look at the entire community type. You need to have statistics of how many doctors do you have, how many dentists do you have, how many lawyers do you have, how many barristers do you have, how many accountants, how many this, how many that. Your local centers, your local communities. Okay? But have a look at what you have. If the youngsters can just a few more minutes and inshallah they have time to talk, please. Just a little bit distracting. Thank you. But look at what the general tawajjuh, first of all, what we have. Based upon that, what needs we have, what shortages we have, and then try to encourage our youth. Okay, this, for example, specialization has these prospects, this can be done. Some incentives, the community can assist you with this. Fulan and Fulan can assist you with this. We can guide you in this. This is called guiding a community towards certain goals. And you're looking towards self-sufficiency. Okay? Whatever problem you will have in your community, inshallah, always we have somebody. Thirdly is the matter of creating طلاب ilm. Creating. Alhamdulillah, the youth, this young generation, alhamdulillah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jalla has given them a lot of light with their bright faces, regularly coming to the mosques, and their enthusiasm, alhamdulillah, yesterday was a big sign that they're taking part in the madrasa programs. There is a lot of hope in these generations. I request my elders in the community to work together with the committee in order to point out and to try to identify certain individuals who may be able to go to the hawza in order to study. Because as long as you do not have somebody from your own community and you outsource, okay, bring somebody from outside who does not understand the mentality of your community, the makeup of your community, has not grown up between you and the relations between Fulan and Fulan and Fulan and Fulan, does not understand them, there will remain a shortage. In addition to this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the principle of the Holy Quran, is that فَلَوْلَا نَفَرَ مِنْ كُلِّ فِرْقَةٍ مِنْكُمْ طَائِفَةٍ. Would that from every single group of you, a certain bunch goes in order to study religion and then come back and warn the people so that they may fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So based upon this, it is necessary for you guys, for the community, for the dear brothers and sisters, the mothers, to raise children with this love of studying Islamic sciences. Trust me, when you go and study and have a look at these sciences, they are addictive. They are so addictive. Sometimes you find people, they remaining over there in Qom or in Najaf for a very long period of time because there is so much knowledge and it's extremely beautiful, very addictive. That's first thing. Secondly, do not think, and this is the main problem that everybody has, that what is he going to do when he comes back? Become a resident alim. You think that's everything for alim ad-din. There's a lot that alim ad-din can do. First of all, alim ad-din, if he studied properly, finish his academic as well, like education, is Islamic academic education in addition to the normal traditional one. He can come over here and teach in universities. They can come and teach. Okay? And they are in demand right now. In demand, that's first thing. Secondly, they can write. I personally know certain people, certain ulama, they constantly write. Their books are, mashallah, being sold in Amazon and many other places. Every year they have quite a few books, and subhanAllah, a lot of depth and research. Thirdly, they can teach, also in the houses that are here and present. They can take jobs as President Alims. There's also jobs as chaplains, correct? As chaplains. As a government position, in hospitals, etc. As chaplains as well. They have their rights, their stipends, everything, okay? In addition to that, there's also other things that can be done. This ilm itself, it needs sacrifice. This, your souls, our hidayah, it needs sacrifice. Don't only think about the depth of your pockets. Don't think only about your pockets. You're here for 70, 80 years, whatever. We're leaving, nobody is here to remain. We've come over here just to polish this soul. This soul needs polishing through knowledge and through guidance. Because we're going to live forever. Let me put it in other words. For billions of years and billions and continuously. In the akhirah. That's what we believe in. Right. When you have not worked for that, why? Because of the fact that, Molana, what is it? They don't make money and poor people. Who told you that? Seriously. Who told you that? Don't only think as well about the money. A community needs to come together. You guys need to sponsor. You need to sponsor 1 or 2 students with a specific contract for a specific amount of time, a particular takhasus and specialization in the hawza, maybe Quranic sciences, theology, history, whatever it may be, okay? And then come back and work. Work especially on the community and especially on the youth. This way your community will be alive. But as long as you remain just consuming whatever you receive from outside and not producing anything from within, you're a dead community. You'll remain dead. The life of any community, it depends on how much you produce, but not how much you exhaust. With that, I pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us all and to forgive our sins and to grant us to be on Sirat al-Mustaqim, the tawfiq to be on Sirat al-Mustaqim, and to benefit from what blessings that He has given us according to the limit that He has ordained. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.